Life used to be so simple for print journalists. Well, not that simple, I suppose, but basically the skill of the print journalist is the ability to tell a story well, to craft and visualize the narrative in a compelling and engaging way. And I believe, and I've always believed, that this skill is flexible, durable, and transferable. Now, you'll probably have heard these many media experts who paint a picture of the future that's forbidding and complex, a future, they say, that requires a whole new sort of media worker. And I think that's usually because these gurus' starting point is the technology itself and not the consumer. I believe the reality is actually quite the opposite. I believe that the skill of the print journalist is built to last and adapt. And I hope this film you're going to see will demonstrate that. You're going to meet colleagues from Bristol, which is the BBC's home for specialist consumer magazines. And these journalists not only make the printed magazine, but they're also flexing their brands across other media formats too. And the point is, they are all traditionally trained print journalists. That's how they began their careers. So, are they born again? Well, not really. Have they had to undergo extensive retraining? They have not. And has it cost us a fortune? It hasn't. And of course, the beauty of this film is that they made it themselves.
Hello, my name is Dave Musgrove. I'm the editor of BBC History magazine, based down here in Bristol, and I've been asked to talk a little bit about the online offerings that the magazine produces. The first thing that's probably most interesting is doing stuff with Twitter. We have quite a good Twitter following. We've got about 7,000 people who follow what we say. I find it quite a useful mechanism for transmitting news. And the good thing about it is people tend to pick it up and they can then retweet it and tell other people, and it just gets a little bit of exposure for your magazine to people who perhaps wouldn't necessarily buy it. That's our Twitter site. We also do Facebook, so another social media resource. We do basically the same thing as we do on Twitter, just flag up news stories that we've come across. And then of course we've got our website, bbchistorymagazine.com, and it's pretty easy to update it. We use the Drupal content management system here. I'm already logged in. I just go to the edit tab there and I can amend that copy. So everyone on the team, we're quite a small team here, will spend a few minutes every day just uploading, tweaking stuff and trying to make sure we've got a website that looks like things are going on every day. We've been doing our podcast since June 2007, so three odd years now. And we get something in the order of 200,000 people, something like that, downloading it each month. What we do is we interview 2 or 3 people who've contributed to the magazine that month. We then have a series of interviews. We pass them on to our audio technician. The editorial team will go down and record introductions to every section, so we'll have made it into a mini radio program. That might sound like that's a massive load of work, but actually it's not that much time, and for what we get back from it in terms of exposure and possibility of attracting new readers, it's a pretty immense resource.
Hello, I'm Jenny. I'm the editor of Focus magazine. This is an iPad, the hot new gadget of 2010, and looks set to revolutionise entertainment media. So we at Focus thought we would develop a magazine app, basically because it's good for the brand in terms of taking it to a more international audience, and also because readers who might not necessarily read magazines this could be their thing to access content and stuff. So we're actually working on an app at the moment. Here's Steve and Jay who are working on it. So Jay, you can tell us a little bit more about why it's so good.
Well, one of the things we can do is add sort of interactive content that wouldn't work on a magazine but works on an iPad, so videos and interactive graphics, that sort of thing. Just sort of give the user something a little bit extra.
And the actual design process is relatively easy in that we're using InDesign CS5, which is familiar to the normal designers, and we're just able to add extra content in, so you don't have to be like a developer or web designer. you can literally just convert InDesign elements to buttons to open up new elements on the page. So you can actually fit a lot more than you can on a printed page. And a good example would be like our Q&A section is normally 12 pages. And we can actually fit that into just one page that you can interact with, press on which one you want and you get the copy. You can submit your question via email just by clicking on a link, and find out about the experts by clicking on them. The products, everything we photograph in 360, so you'll be able to view a 360 view of the product. Megapixel is all about the image, and what's nice about the iPad is that you can just hide all the copy away and just purely focus on the image. And if you do want the copy, you can click on a link, read about the image, and then additionally you can zoom into the image and pan around.
Well, we started on Scarlet Night magazine recording our podcast in 2008, and that was just interviews that we'd been doing for the magazine that we'd recorded, and we'd come in here and every month 3 of us would get together and cut together some interviews and some commentary on the latest astronomy news. But we actually decided that we'd quite like to have a go at vodcasting and video casting, basically putting out videos to YouTube and iTunes so that people could have a look at the images that we were talking about, or some of the science results, be they pictures or amazing artist impressions. So I went on YouTube and actually found that you could quite easily make the sort of green screen technology that the weathermen use. So that we just went down to the market and got, I think it was something like £16 worth of green cloth and pinned it to the wall. We already had a few lights around here. And then we put that all together, and with the software that Kerry uses, we were able to create a basic green screen technology, allowing us to put videos from the space agencies and observatories right behind me as I'm talking on camera, which is great because astronomy has loads of pretty pictures for a start, but also there's lots of resources that we can use, like high definition videos from the space agencies. So there was lots there that we could play with, and we actually have made 5 episodes of the Vodcast now, and they're doing really well, much better in fact than our podcast episodes. So it's really positive, and it's something that actually can fit in with the work that I'm doing as staff writer on the magazine, because as I'm looking for news stories or feature ideas, I can pick up videos and images along the way. And certainly when we're looking at promoting the magazine, we can also link that in as well. So we might have a topic that we want to talk about that month in the magazine that we can concentrate on in the Vodcast, and it becomes another way to advertise the magazine but also give something back to the readers and give them something to look at as well as the magazine in print. One of the things we wanted to do with the Vodcast was get it out to the biggest audience possible. So for instance in the magazine we actually had a little box at the end of the editor's letter which sends people to the website so they can see the Vodcast. We also release it simultaneously to iTunes and YouTube to make sure that people can see it in any format they want. Another thing we did when we were making the Vodcast is actually make sure that we've released it in the right format so that people can see it on their personal video devices. So people are actually able to download our Vodcast when they want and view it when they want on their iPods and things like this. So it means that people can take the magazine with them wherever they go, so if they're travelling on the train, or they can view it at any time they like.